Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar today, where we'll be discussing Halliburton casing equipment. My name is Ian Gordon, and I'm the casing equipment manager for Europe. First, we're going to start with the safety moment. To join us today, you'll have clicked on a link, but do you always think before you click? We all have that moment where we think, should I have clicked on that? Is it safe? There are many ways that criminals can try and get your personal information, so we need to make sure that we're safe. First of all, passwords should be complex and changed regularly. Do you know that a 9-character password consistent of only numbers could be hacked in as little as 4 seconds? Compare that with a password of the same length, consisting of numbers, upper and lowercase letters, and a symbol. You can increase that time to over 12 years. Keeping devices locked and only downloading from safe sources and being cautious of the information that you share on secure websites and also public forums like social media. We all need to work hard to keep ourselves safe and the companies that we work for safe. Our agenda today will consist of float equipment, displacement technologies, that's cement plugs, centralization, surface equipment, where we'll look at cement head options, case and running, and looking at options to aid getting case into bottom, plug setting aids, and finally cementing synergies, where you're using cement services along with our casing equipment. We'll be covering a lot of topics and we'll be moving quite quickly. So if you have any questions, please type them in the comments box and we'll have a Q&A session at the end of it. But first, let's look at our value proposition. This is how we work, the value proposition is design and deliver dependable barriers to tailored to minimize risk and maximize production. This is how we work and how our work and knowledge can bring value to your operation. We design and deliver using our wealth of knowledge from over 100 years of cementing to ensure that we deliver dependable barriers to meet your objective. We do this by tailoring and again leaning on our years of experience to minimize the risk to your asset and maximize your returns. Let's start by looking at our float equipment. At the heart of our float equipment is our Super Seal 2 valve. This is our premium high-performance valve. It's a unique reverse poppet design, which allows for greater surface contact area, giving a better seal and higher total flow by area to maximize flow rates and minimize the risk of blockages. Over the past 4 years, it's had a 94% success rate of confirmed floats holding across Europe, which really shows how well it performs in all conditions and offers assurances to your operation. The Super Seal 2 is rated to the highest API rating of 3C, with flow rates of up to 25 barrels per minute for 24 hours, depending on the valve size. Moving on from the Super Seal 2, our Trophy Seal poppet valve is based on the same reverse poppet design as the Super Seal 2. However, it has a lower API rating, which is designed for less challenging wells, where lower pressure and temperature can be expected. It has a high total flow by area and is rated to 10 barrels per minute for 8 hours. The Trophy Seal is limited to API threads, but if your well conditions match the Trophy Seal specifications, it can offer a great performance and a cost-effective alternative to our Super Seal 2 valve. When it comes to float shoes, we have options to configure the shoe to your well's needs. The shoe can include ports for directing flow or up or down the annulus. These ports will partially direct flow out to the annulus around the shoe rather than directly down the hole to aid cleaning the annulus and evenly distribute cement around your shoe. We also have several options when it comes to the noses on the end of your shoe. Starting with a cemented bullnose type shoe, we can offer alternatives to help aid casing running by using a tapered or offset tapered nose. These are both available in aluminium and composite materials to improve drill out speeds. Next, we have our RPT reamer shoe. This is a spiral veined reamer shoe designed to remove bridges and wellbore obstructions when you're running your casing. The RPT utilizes carbide cutting blades to keep casing running downhole and reaching your TD. The blades are built as standard 1/8 under gauge, but can be designed to any casing and hole size. It can be fitted with a tapered or offset tapered nose, with high port up jets to help remove debris and filter cake from the annulus. While we often think reamers for rotating and work in the casing, these reamer shoes will still perform without rotation. The spiral blades will work the whole annular diameter throughout reciprocation. The RPT is one of the toughest reamers on the market, with construction built to last. The Superfill big bore equipment is designed for reducing surge when running your casing. It's a flapper valve type float which offers 17% more flow area than other comparable floats. It's deactivated when near bottom by a ball which can be retained in the collar or dropped from surface. The ball, when dropped down, will shift the sleeves which hold the flappers open. Confirmation of the valve's closing can be verified by monitoring fluid levels in the casing and annulus as the casing is landed out. The collar can be used along with our conventional cement plugs to perform your cement job. When looking for surge reduction equipment, the Superfill big bore offers unrivaled flow by area and no risk of packing off due to filters. Now we'll look at some cement plugs for your primary cementing. Our full bore cement plugs, as with everything we do, we've got many options to suit the needs of your well and cement job. Our 5 wiper plugs are just as they're described, with 5 wipers on both the top and bottom plug. Depending on your preference, they can come in standard flat bottom profile or non-rotating, which is teeth, designed to match the profile of your float collar and stop plugs from spinning when drilling out. If you require higher than normal pressure test on bump, we have a high strength option to ensure you can pressure test your casing at the end of your cement job to your requirements. Moving on from this technology, we've developed the high wiping efficiency plug, or HWE. These plugs have fewer wiper blades than the 5 wiper plugs, but the blades have deeper cups, which give more contact area inside the casing, improving displacement efficiency and casing wiping. Because of the higher contact area with the casing, the HWE plugs do not have a non-rotating feature, as they will grip the casing when they're being drilled out. For subsea and liner applications, we have our SSR plug range. This started with our SSR1 system, which is still available today, but it's been redesigned and the SSR2 was created. The SSR2 is a composite plug system which utilizes the HWE plugs for greater displacement efficiency, while being fast and easy to drill out due to its composite construction, while minimizing wear on your bit. The SSR2 is available in single, double plug, and even a 3-plug system. The SSR2 utilizes a landing collar and baffle system to maximize the flow rate through the plugs. The bottom plug is equipped with a mandrel, which, when the bottom plug lands on the landing collar, the mandrel will pump out of the plug and land on the baffle, which is positioned above the float collar. This gives a large flow by area for the cement to pass, and the top plug will then land on the bottom plug to complete your cement job. The main advantage of this system is the fast drill out time, which we've typically seen the plug sets drill out in around 30 minutes, sometimes less, which can provide a great time saving for the rig. Our latest incarnation of the SSR plugs is the SSR3. This takes all the best features from the previous 2 plug systems and forms the complete package. It has maintained the HWE plugs, but includes a non-rotating feature to aid drill out further. The system now integrates a swivel above the plugs and a new bottom plug design, which removes the need for a landing collar. It has recently had its first runs in Gulf of Mexico and Australia with great success, and we hope to share more information on these first runs soon. Next up, we'll talk about centralization. It's one of the biggest factors in a successful cement placement. Halliburton's Red X is our own centralizer design with performance and cost in mind. The Red X centralizers have a full range of welded, hinged, and slip-on bowspring, and solid centralizer to meet your requirements. These are a great cost-effective solution to the challenges of your well. Centec are a premium centralizer supplier. They manufacture all types of bowspring in the UK to suit your well architecture. The S2 is the gold standard of bowspring centralizer. It's a single-piece machined steel, specially heat-treated to balance restoring force and ductility, which offers unmatched strength and durability, something which many of their competitors have failed to do. It's an extremely sturdy unit, which will stand up to whatever well conditions you may encounter. The technology is being used across their range for under-reamed and close tolerance sections, where we can use the TUR and UROS centralizer. ProTech is very different to other centralizers that we've covered up till now. These centralizer blades are bonded directly onto the pipe through a process of sandblasting the pipe and injecting resin into the mold specially designed for the design of your pipe and blade configuration. The resin used for the construction of the blades reduces friction when running encased and open hole. This can be advantageous when extended reach and tortuous well paths are planned, and achieving TD can be challenging. In addition to the friction reducing properties of the blades, because the designs are bespoke to your well, they can also have applications on close tolerance. Continuing on the subject of close tolerance, it's important during planning that we have all the pertinent information to offer the correct solution. First, we need to look at the well design. What is the minimum restriction? Will the casing enter the open hole after the restriction? Is the open hole under-reamed? Once we have all this information, we can look at the best choice of equipment for your job, bearing in mind the limitations of the equipment. We need to think about the maximum OD of the equipment and its performance once it is past the restriction to provide suitable standoff to deliver your well value. We've already mentioned ProTech as an application for close tolerance, but what about using ProTech as a stop collar to minimize the OD of that stop collar? Because of the way the blades or stops are designed, installation of any configuration is possible. We can use these stop collars with Centec UROS or TUR bowsprings and maximize the standoff of your under-reamed section. An alternative to ProTech stop collars is Ace ratchet collars. These collars use friction rather than grub screws to grip the casing. These reduce the overall OD of the stop collar assembly, and when used in conjunction with Centec, we call this a redlock CT. It offers great passability of restrictions and maximum standoff in your open hole. Last but not least, we have centralizer subs. Subs will provide the lowest OD for close tolerance applications. Because the centralizer sits inside the machined body of the casing, it can sit flush with the casing of your choice. As many of you are aware, this comes at a premium, not just price, but also lead time. And that's because of the way that these are manufactured. All of the solutions I've discussed will be more cost effective and reduce lead time, but with this comes compromise. And sometimes the application will require a premium solution. Our Halliburton intercasing centralizer sub 2 or ICCS2 are designed and manufactured in-house and paired with Centec's range of centralizers to maximize standoff in the open hole and to pass any restrictions. Moving on from downhole solutions, let's have a look at some of the surface equipment in the form of cement heads. For launching surface plugs, we have our quick latch cement head. The quick latch system is latched directly onto the casing coupling of your running string and seals, which makes installation safe and efficient on the rig. Plug containers are available from 4.5 all the way up to 20 inch. Can be supplied in single and double plug configuration. These cement heads are simple to operate and have a long and reliable track record. The simplicity is all you need from a surface release cement head. Subsea operations offshore and liner jobs will require a top drive cement head to launch darts for downhole operations. Halliburton Commander top drive cement head comes in two sizes, 500 and 1000. The 500 is designed for most jobs onshore and offshore, while the 1000 head has been designed with more challenging offshore and deep water applications in mind. Both heads will operate manually as standard or have an optional wireless control system. The system is completely remote and can control dropping of all darts and balls along with functioning of the Kelly valves. The valves are nitrogen operated via a remote control panel. This will eliminate any man riding on the drill floor and offer a safer solution to your cement job. The first tool we're going to look at in the casing running section will help us get the casing to bottom where it may seem impossible. A buoyancy assisted casing equipment, or BASE, is a flotation device for your casing string. Where the weight and drag of the string can exceed the available hook weight in long horizontal wells, the BASE is placed inside the casing to capture air between the float collar and the tool. The air will reduce the weight of the casing and float it down to achieve greater measured depth runs. Once the casing is on bottom, the rupture disc is burst, which allows the air to be released. The air trapped inside can be percolated up the casing or circulated out around the annulus. A bottom plug is then launched and lands on top of the base collar. This releases the tool, which was gripping inside the casing, and is then displaced down to the float collar. This means that we can minimize the shoe track length, where previously other systems may have required an extended shoe track. We can now perform our job conventionally. This tool can be tailored to your needs, and the placement of it in the string can be engineered to optimize your casing run. Sometimes when running the casing, risks have been identified in the program, such as ledges, casing bed, cutting beds, and formation swelling. Typically, we'll try and work the string over these to continue our casing run. But what if the string's stuck, or we're out of hook load and we've reached our torque limit? The XRV is a vibrating tool which can help when other options may not be available. The tool is usually run between the collar and the shoe and is activated by the pumping rate, and can help mobilize gelled muds and debris in the annulus, which may be creating additional drag. It has no moving parts and is resistant to all wellbore fluids and gases. When run in field, it's been reported that the vibration can be felt on the drill floor, which is no mean feat for a small tool, which is potentially thousands of feet below. With the casing on bottom, this movement will also help improve cement placement and give additional assurances of a good annular cement sheath around the shoe. These are available in various sizes, and the activation rates will vary depending on that size. Of course, there's times where we have no other option but to plug back, whether this is for abandonment or sidetrack. Bottom hole kickoff assembly is a subsurface disconnect tool which can offer great rig time savings for potentially long abandonment campaigns. When we plan abandonments, we always want to set as few plugs as possible, but we're always restricted by plug setting length. With a disconnect tool, we can potentially set the equivalent of 5 or 6 plugs in just one job by utilizing sacrificial pipe and reducing the need for pulling through the cement. We can also see great advantages of using this in high hole angles, where stripping the plug and pulling out of hole is a real risk. Leaving pipe in the cement can improve the chances of getting cement right first time. One of the most challenging plug setting scenarios is setting plugs in open hole. With so many variables, it can be difficult to get the job right first time. Having a good base for the cement is a great start to a successful operation. Setting on bottom is not always possible, and fluid bases such as VRPs can be messy and time consuming. The Cement Support Tool, or CST, is an open hole fluid barrier, which is a great which gives you a great start to your cement operation by offering a firm base for your cement to land on. The tool is a great contingency to have on the rig. It takes up minimal space and can be deployed with no training. The tool is loaded into your cement string on the rig floor and displaced to setting depth. And as quickly as that, we're ready to set our cement plug. Because of the design of the CST, which is spring loaded, it has an open hole range which will cover most of your needs. You can make sure that the right tool is supplied for your application. It has proved to be incredibly successful in the UK and Norway, with plug setting success of 95% first time in over 3,500 runs. Finally, we're going to look at how the casing team can work with their cementing services to bring you a more efficient, smoother operation. When the casing team is working with cementing operations, we have a direct line to each other. Share information, discuss well challenges, and suggest the best solutions for your job. This can be in the form of selecting the correct centralizers and running simulations in our ISEM software to make sure that centralizer placement and quantity is optimal for your job. Communication is always key when designing and delivering these jobs, and sharing information is vital, with Halliburton supplying casing equipment for Halliburton cementing operations. There is clear communication and sharing, which can be challenging with third parties. Finally, when executing the job, our cementer will be on site supporting the operation of our equipment. How many times have you seen people debating on the rig site the simplest of questions, like which one is the bottom plug? Having someone familiar with the equipment that you've chosen to run can save you unexpected headaches. Our equipment and our crew supplying the correct execution of the job is the kind of assurance you want on your rig site. So that's all the slides I've got for you today. Thank you again for your time. I'd now like to hand it over to our moderator for our Q&A session.